have to sit up a little bit, look at the TV a little closer. All right, Chairman Jordan, I appreciate the committee's interest in content moderation on online platforms. As you are aware, Meta has produced thousands of documents as part of your investigation and made a dozen employees available for transcribed interviews. Further to our cooperation with your investigation, I welcome the opportunity to share what I've taken away from this process. I wear glasses too, so this is pretty impressive. There's a lot of talk right now around how the US government interacts with companies like Meta. I want to be clear about your position. Our platforms are for everyone. We're about promoting speech and helping people connect in a safe and secure way. As part of this, we regularly hear from governments around the world and others with various concerns around public discourse and public safety. In 2021, senior officials from the Biden administration, including the White House, repeatedly pressured our teams for months to censor certain COVID-19 content, including humor and satire, and expressed a lot of frustration with our teams when we didn't agree. Ultimately, it was our decision whether or not to take content down, and we own our decisions, including COVID-19 related changes we made to our enforcement in the wake of this pressure. Can we stop right there? Can we pause for a second? How are you okay with that? They're playing with the safety of your lives. They're playing with the safety of your children's lives. There's people that died from this vaccine. There's people that died from the fear that these Democrats pushed on us in order to pressure us to get the vaccine. How are you okay with voting for a group that Zuckerberg just told y'all censored certain information, some from experts? But because those experts were giving opposing views, just like a RFK Jr. was giving opposing views to what Anthony Fauci, who benefits financially from you getting the shot, the vaccine, they're admitting that they were silencing certain experts and their opinions because they did not align with pressuring you to get the vaccine. Like, is that as straightforward as possible? Because I'll tell you what happens. What a lot of these super Democrats are going to read, these people in denial are going to say, well, because we don't know what information was censored, then how do we know that it was a bad thing? Maybe they censored stuff that we shouldn't. Zuckerberg is coming out saying this. Do you know how hard it is for a guy like Zuckerberg to write this letter? It doesn't matter whether he was pressured. It doesn't matter whether he was cornered into a position where something else is eventually getting ready to come out and he's trying to get ahead of it. This was a hard thing to do, him to call out these things in this letter. Let's continue. Where are we? Ultimately, it was our decision whether or not to take content down, and we own our decisions, including COVID-19 related changes we made to our enforcement in the wake of the pressure. I believe the government pressure was wrong, and I regret that we were not more outspoken about it. I also think we made some choices that, with the benefit of hindsight and new information, we wouldn't make today. Like I said, our teams at the time, I feel strongly that we should not compromise our content standards due to pressure from any administration in either direction, and we're ready to push back if something like this happens again. Whew. Letting it be known, Kamala, Walsh, Biden, Barack, all of y'all, you're not going to play these same type of games, these bullying games that y'all were doing before. Because why? Because Mark Zuckerberg, I guess he forgot for a couple years, but he has an obligation to not censor information. With great success in Facebook comes great responsibility. Great responsibility. And he did not live up to the standards of his responsibility to give us uncensored information. He did that. He's acknowledging that in his letter. All right. In a separate situation, another situation. In a separate situation, the FBI warned us about a potential Russian disinformation operation about the Biden family and Burisma in the lead up to the 2020 election. That fall, when we saw a New York Post story reporting on corruption allegations involving then Democratic presidential nominee Joe Biden's family, we sent that story to fact checkers for review and temporarily demoted it while waiting for a reply. It's since been made clear that the reporting was not Russian disinformation, and in retrospect, we shouldn't have demoted the story. We've changed our policies and processes to make sure this doesn't happen again. For instance, we no longer temporarily demote things in the US while waiting for fact checkers. The FBI warned Mark Zuckerberg and Meta about Russian disinformation. Like, hey, think about this. Think about this. The FBI was aware of something that happened, but they did not want it to get out. So what they did was they warned Zuckerberg and Meta, according to Mark Zuckerberg, allegedly, right? According to Mark Zuckerberg, they warned Zuckerberg and his team at Meta that, hey, there's going to be, hold on, a potential Russian disinformation operation with the Biden family in Burisma. The FBI warned us about a potential Russian disinformation operation about the Biden family. Why would you warn them if you know that it's true? That's like why would you warn them of disinformation? That's like somebody cheating on their girlfriend, right? You cheat on your girl, and then you know that the girl that you cheated on, you got caught somehow. Maybe your girlfriend or your wife's friend found out about it because the girl told whatever, and you go to your girl and say, yo, there's going to be some disinformation coming out. And matter of fact, it's going to be coming out, I may even say, via this homegirl. And then just leave it at that. Why would you demote? That's what the FBI did. So I want to be clear. Now, then moving on to the side of Mark Zuckerberg and Meta, they get this information, they get this warning, I should say. Then the information comes out, and they had no reason to demote the story. But because of the influence by the FBI, this is what RFK Jr. is talking about when he says the politicization of the government agencies. This comes out right before the election. I think this story was demoted like a week before the election. Somebody please give me the fact check on this. This came out right before the election. And you demoted it in order to help President Biden. Do you remember the back and forths? Do y'all remember the back and forths when it came to Joe Biden? Let's actually take a look back. Let me give y'all a little bit of a reminder. Hold on, let me give y'all a little bit of a reminder of what happened when it came to Trump, Biden, Trump debate. Hold on, didn't I just have it up here? One second. We're just gonna look at the story. We just will go look at the story. Hold on. We got to take a look. So we'll take a little breather. All right, so I got to look at the history. Where did I just see this? I found it. All right, so it's on the page. So let me copy it over here. Hold up. All right. What's up, Uncle Joe? All right, so let me ask y'all if y'all remember this right here. Because this is what was demoted by Mark Zuckerberg. This is what he's talking about. He's talking about the story that they were talking about in the debates. Do y'all remember when Trump kept saying, yo, Hunter Biden's receiving money, the laptop stuff, and Joe Biden, none of it's real. It's all fake. And then not only this, they had, wasn't it like 51 CIA operatives or 51 CIA agents say Hunter Biden laptop is fake, is Russian hoax. Hold on. It was CIA. Yeah, it's people that worked with this. CIA listed some signatories on it. So I believe it was like 50 CIA agents, whatever you want to call them, leaders in the CIA, whatever. They said that the Hunter Biden laptop was made up. It was fake. Shouldn't we have that information? Oh, we don't want the transparency that RFK Jr. is talking about. We don't want the people to have transparency. We just want them to appear to have transparency. News stations, journalists, MSNBC, ABC, CNN, CBS, Fox. We don't want them to have all the information. We don't want them to have objective information. We just want them to have what we give them, and for them to see that as objective and to see it as not biased and to see it as truth. That's what they're looking for. That's what they're looking for. Just like IROC said, zero principles. There's zero principles. And I know you said, IROC, when is the letter dated? Let me go. So the letter's dated August 26, 2024. That's when his Mark Zuckerberg's letter's dated. August 26th. So what was that? Yes, damn, that was yesterday. That was yesterday. All right, so take a look at this video so I can give you a little bit of a reminder of what was going on.
Vice President Biden, there have been questions about the work your son has done in China and for a Ukrainian energy company when you were vice president. In retrospect, was anything about those relationships inappropriate or unethical?
Nothing was unethical. Here's what the deal. With regard to Ukraine, we had this whole question about whether or not, because he was on the board, I later learned of a Burisma, a company, that somehow I had done something wrong. Yet every single solitary person, when he was going through his impeachment, testifying under oath who worked for him, said, I did my job impeccably. I carried out U.S. policy. Not one single solitary thing was out of line. Not a single thing, number one. Number two, the guy who got in trouble in Ukraine was this guy trying to bribe the Ukrainian government to say something negative about me, which they would not do and did not do because it never, ever, ever happened. My son has not made money in terms of this thing about, what are you talking about, China. I have not had, the only guy made money from China is this guy. He's the only one. Nobody else has made money from China.
President Trump, let me ask my question to you.
But could I just one thing?
Very quickly.
His son didn't have a job for a long time, was sadly no longer in the military service. I won't get into that. And he didn't have a job. As soon as he became vice president, Burisma, not the best reputation in the world. I hear they paid him $183,000 a month.
Burisma. That's the name from the letter, right? This is what Mark Zuckerberg demoted on his platform. This story.
Listen to this. 183, and they gave him a $3 million upfront payment.
All right.
And he had no energy.
I'm going to let the vice president
That's
respond to that quickly, and then I need to
dishonest.
get to a question to you. Very
No
quickly,
basis for that. Everybody investigated that. No one said anything he did was wrong in Ukraine.
Hold up. We got another one. Hold up, Uncle Joe. You ain't going nowhere.
Ate your lunch, Joe, and no wonder your son goes. China ate your lunch, Joe, and no wonder your son goes in and he takes out billions of dollars, to manage. He makes millions of dollars. And also, while we're at it, why is it, just out of curiosity, the mayor of Moscow's wife gave your son $3.5 million. What did he do to deserve it? What did he do with Burisma to deserve $183,000?
None of that is true.
Let him answer.
None of that is true.
Oh, really?
Totally,
He didn't get $3.5 million?
Mr. President,
it's totally,
Mr. President, please.
Totally discredited. Totally discredited. And by the way,
well, wait, he didn't get $3.5 million, Joe?
Mr. Vice,
he got $3.5 million.
It is not true.
Oh, really?
Mr. President.
So now we're seeing why the mics were muted, but now Kamala doesn't want the mics muted.
It's an open discussion, please.
It's a fact.
Well, you have raised an issue. Let the Vice President answer.
Discredited.
Did Burisma pay him $183,000 a month with no experience in energy?
Mr. President,
with no job?
My son.
You know what's so funny? I'm looking back at this debate, and this cognitive decline of Joe Biden is relevant as I'm looking at it right now. I'm looking at it right now. And what's so funny is, and all these super Democrat Joe Biden supporters, you're telling me, and MSNBC and CNN, that they didn't realize that he was suffering from a cognitive decline until after the last this current debate with Donald Trump. Stop it.
Son did nothing wrong at Burisma.
I think he did.
Mr. President, let him answer.
Hey, thanks for watching. If you like this video...
All right, so let's move on from that. Let's get back to the letter real quick. I want to finish reading the letter, but that was the situation from the letter. All right, let me okay, so I think we're on page 2. We're on page 2. Apart from content moderation, I want to address the contributions I made during the last presidential cycle to support electoral infrastructure. The idea here was to make sure local election jurisdictions across the country had the resources they needed to help people vote safely during a global pandemic. Yeah, right. I made these contributions through the Chan Zuckerberg initiative. They were designed to be nonpartisan. Stop it. They were designed to be nonpartisan, spread across spread across urban, rural, and suburban communities. Sorry, I'm reading it from a small screen. Still, despite the analysis I've seen showing otherwise, I know that some people believe this work benefited one party over the other. My goal is to be neutral and not play a role one way or another, or to even appear to be playing a role. So I don't plan on making a similar contribution this cycle. Respectfully, Mark Zuckerberg. Oh, Mark Zuckerberg's for the truth. He doesn't want to be super Democrat affiliated and have that allegiance. He doesn't want to get bullied anymore by the Democrats. I wonder if Mark Zuckerberg was reached out to by Trump's team at the time. I wonder if Trump's team at the time reached out or tried to, let's say while Trump was in office, and tried to bully them into censoring certain things. I wonder if he would have just fell back and accepted it, or if he would have actually exposed it. I have a feeling that he would have tried to expose it, but yet he let this sit for what, 4 years, 3 years, didn't say anything, right? And just let it go. It is ridiculous what's going on. Let me get to my notes real quick. All right, so let me move this down. Hold on. All right, because I got a couple questions for y'all. As I was going through this, I just had my notes. It's hilarious. And I got a couple different videos. I got a Rachel Maddow video. It's just very funny to see super liberals 5 years ago, 7 years ago, even longer than that. I have a Dave Pakman video that I'm getting ready to show you where the hypocrisy, where 12 years ago or years ago, they think one way, talking about free speech, condemning something like this that happened with Mark Zuckerberg and censoring certain things. But now they're on the other side of it. Now they don't call those things out. So let me go to Mark Zuckerberg. They lied about Hunter Biden's laptop. They lied about Hunter Biden receiving money. It's out there, right? It's all out there now. So we know that. And honestly, why it took Mark Zuckerberg so long to acknowledge that, we got to question him. I don't think we should not be patting him on the back. We should not be giving him his flowers for doing what he should have been doing. It's like, the kid in the classroom. You got a kid in the classroom that's just behaving, just kind of doing exactly what the teacher asked, doing their homework, whatever, just being a good student. They don't get the extra celebration. But then you got the kid that just messed up, that did some funny stuff, violated the class rules, but then because he's just now acknowledging that he violated the class rules and has plans of being a good student moving forward, now we're celebrating that kid. So I don't think we should be celebrating Mark Zuckerberg. We should be condemning him in a lot of ways for taking this long, for allowing his principles to be tainted and hide behind, I was bullied, I was pressured. No, you took the bag. Now the bag, I don't know what the bag has in it, but you took a bag. I'm sure there's something that comes with everything. Everything is an exchange, right? You do this, we do that, right? So he should be condemned. Now, if you come out and now you're on the straight and narrow, you're for truth, maybe call out some other stuff. I don't know. You can get back in people's blessings, all for second chances and whatnot, but it has to be understood what he did and how disrespectful it was to the American public. Imagine if Joe Biden, that election was razor thin, razor close, right? Even though they were predicting before the election that Joe Biden would win by like 7 percentage points, it was very tight. And a lot of people get mad at Trump, right, for saying that the election was stolen. You have it right here. You have it right here in this letter. Mark Zuckerberg is telling you that the government, that the administration was hiding information that if it was, they didn't, and we know how it goes. He didn't want to release that information. He demoted it. It was a week before the election. He said, we got to get Biden back. Stop it. All right. So let's go to a couple of these other videos. Oh, I wanted to. So we talked about the Smith-Mundt Act, and I want y'all to take a look at this Smith-Mundt Act.